Yeah, really, really lucky out there on the golf course. Anyone that knows me well knows I love my golf, so I was out there this morning in perfect preparation for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have seen one change effected for Adelaide United, and we're lucky enough to have their coach, Adrian Stenter, with us now. Adrian, what was your message at the break?
Just that perhaps we didn't start as well as we would have liked, obviously conceding so early, but just really pleased that they were able to wrestle back some control and fight back into the game, and showed a lot of character. So I was happy with that second half of the first period.
Adrian, Robbie Cornthwaite here. We see you preparing your second change. Georgia Campagnoli about to come on. Can you talk us through that one?
Yeah, we've been really lucky this year. We haven't really had to deal with injury a lot, and we've been able to keep a consistent side out on the park. But unfortunately, we've copped a couple of injuries in the first half, which have necessitated some changes.
And can you tell us who's making way for Georgia?
Kalia Hogg is coming off.
OK, and what are you hoping to effect with that change, Adrian?
Just to get a fit and healthy player on, because Carly has pulled up with an injury, unfortunately, for her. So, yeah.
Well, that sounds like a sensible plan. Adrian, thank you very much for your time. We'll let you go back and concentrate in this crucial 45 minutes for Adelaide United.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Look like they've sent out the same 11. What do you make of that change? It's disappointing for Adrian Stender, Robbie, to have until the final match of the season to have to make those changes.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Georgia Campagnoli's just got so much experience, and, you know, with the departure of Holmes, I thought maybe she would be the one to slot into that midfield, but Kalia Hogg has done that on over the last few weeks, should I say, and obviously to have that experience coming on. She's the equal record games holder along with Emily Condon, so plenty of experience, as I mentioned, but it just sort of takes away any options to change that front three late on in the game if you're chasing a goal. He's going to have to be really, really careful now with his last sub, and hopefully no more injuries.
Yeah, fingers crossed for the home side as they charge forward in attack to start this second stanza. Took some work there from Nick Orgel on the far side to block off that particular attack.
Well, Adelaide starting on the front foot, something they didn't do in the first half, so looking to pick up from where they left off. We heard Adrian Stenter say he wasn't too pleased with the way that they started, but happy with the way they came back into that game. So level pecking as we enter the second half, and as we've mentioned on many occasions, Adelaide United must win to keep their season alive.
Yeah, I don't even know if we should go into the permutations of what happens if Adelaide United get 3 points here and Canberra United were to draw with Sydney to put them level on points, level on goal difference. And, yeah, if you read the regulations, it'll tell you how all that will be sorted out.
We'll wait until Adelaide are 3 goals ahead, I think, before we start looking through the regulation rule book. But I think 3 points will definitely make that last match for Canberra United super interesting, keep this W League finals campaign well and truly open.
Yeah, it's been an exciting down to the wire finish, as now we have a Wanderers player who's down. It's no good. Olivia Price, the goal scorer, down on the turf, hopefully going to be okay. Take a look at how that occurred.
Yeah, just coming together, a little bit of a 50-50. Campagnoli going in strong. The referee didn't award a free kick, but decided to stop things anyway. I think you can see the Adelaide United bench, Joe Mullen and Adrian Stenter up remonstrating, saying, well, why have you stopped things if it's a knock to the hip? Obviously, the referee thought it may have been a head knock and did the right thing, stopping the play.
So it's Adelaide United that get us underway once more. Adrian Stenter summed it up pretty well. It was a worrisome opening few minutes for the Reds. Campagnoli with one of her first touches. Back to Rojas. Of course, after Hodgson put that ball in the back of the net, they really picked up and certainly perked up their play. And now it's Laura Johns. Johns cuts back. She does have Rojas there. It's just over her head. Chilean striker, perhaps the diminutive stature, could have used a couple more inches.
She certainly could have. I think that was a lovely ball from Johns. Lovely overlapping run, underlapping indeed, and then just whipping it into the back post. And Hodgson's been so good in this game, but she gets her timing all wrong. I think she might be thinking there's a little flick away from Yeoman Dale, but she decides to let it go and just catches her off guard. There's a good couple of openings for Adelaide early on. I just think maybe Rojas has a little bit more influence when she plays as the highest player forward, as the striker role, and then drops off. At the moment, she's taking up that number 10 position. It's a little bit easy to mark her when she's playing up on the highest line and then drops in. You know, centre-backs follow her in and create space. At the moment,
more pressure here. Fiona Wirtz flying through. Can't connect, but another shot. Wow, that looked incredibly close. And almost on for Mallory Webber. What an attack from Adelaide. Certainly sent Sarah Willis's blood pressure skyrocketing.
Well, the referee's given a corner, so she must have credited her with a save. Just getting her fingertips to it after a poor clearance. Adelaide really starting to turn the screws now.
Well, as they need to, their last opportunity this season to get points on the board, and they need all three if they're to stay in any way in contention for the W League finals for this season. To the far post, and it is headed down. There is the second goal, and that puts Adelaide United in the lead. What a goal and what timing. Absolutely superb. It's another one for the Dutchwoman Mariska Valdos. Could not come at a better time.
Well, just 5 minutes into this second half, Adelaide have already had a number of opportunities. They've come out of the box flying. And this ball just drifted in towards the back post. It's almost a carbon copy of her header against Sydney FC at Martin a fortnight ago. Not sure how she's been able to get so much space. And you can see the celebration for the two Adelaide goals, just how much it means to this team. How badly they want to get these 3 points. It was a lovely floated cross. Just hung up at the back post, completely unmarked, took her time and just directed it in. That's the goal Adelaide United needed.
Absolutely, Mariska Valdos against her old side.
What happened to not celebrating against your old side? She ran 60 metres to the bench.
Hey, she wants to make finals football. She's pretty happy.
I always regret, whenever I scored, which wasn't that often, and you do a sprint like that, when you get back for the game to kick off, you regret it instantly because you're puffing. You think, why the hell did I just do that? Now I'm knackered.
See how she pulls up in the next few minutes. It's worth it in the moment, right?
It is, it is.
So these two sides both have a bye next week. Western Sydney Wanderers can't improve their ladder position with a win here, but they can certainly spoil the party for the home side.
Well, how do they respond? I mean, they've been pretty good so far, but, you know, nothing to play for. Do they push forward, go for broke, look to try to score? Dean Heffernan just saying he wants a few more balls just in behind as they're going to go to the bench as well.
Sure are, Lena Karma. Speaking of experienced players, you see Julie Russell, the Irish international, make way for one of the most experienced players, certainly Western Sydney Wanderers, but in the W League.
She's been able to make a real impact in games off the bench this season, hasn't she? She's been coming on and supplying and causing problems. Maybe when the game just slows down a little bit, she's been able to have a real influence.
Lena Karmas, the 34-year-old super sub, and she crosses that line. It'll be her 128th appearance. Now, Robbie, she scored 45 goals in that period of time, so yeah, she wouldn't mind adding another couple today. She doesn't mind spoiling a party.
She's got a couple this season as well, a couple of assists, so beware Adelaide.
Indeed she has, and as mentioned, Julianne Russell coming off, finishes her season. And Lena Karmas, 22nd appearance in Wanderers colours. A Western Sydney girl, born and bred. Of course, had stints at Canberra United and a long time, 8 seasons at Sydney FC. Not to mention 25 caps for the Matildas. Well, look at that. It's pretty tight at the top.
It certainly is. It's the win we were talking about, and if Adelaide get another 1 or 2, it could make things really interesting for Canberra. Only a win would do for them. Might come back down to that goal difference. A lot to happen for Adelaide to get into that position, but so far so good.
can't do much more than get the 3 points. It's
and that's given Melbourne Victory win both their games. We should say that because we're almost saying that they're in with their 2 matches still to play, but they've got to get the wins as well.
We'll talk about that in just a moment as Adelaide United on the attack again, and McLaren comes out, Willisey rather, comes out to punch away. Oh, Western Sydney Wanderers under a little bit of pressure here. Riley Henry on the far side. Dale, and Wanderers win the free kick. Robbie, you mentioned Melbourne Victory. We saw that ladder come up there, but as things stand, anyone in that top 4, Sydney FC, Brisbane Roar, Canberra United or Melbourne Victory, could still win the premiership.
It's very tight. It's very tight indeed. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to watch. It's wonderful to try to work out, get your calculator out. Maths was never my strong suit, but I feel like a physicist or something trying to work out how this top 4 is going to shake up.
I can't stand the permutations because you've also got to look at who they're playing against. And, of course, Melbourne Victory is... Carnes tries to put on a little bit of pressure there. Melbourne Victory are playing Perth, who've had a really tough time this season. In fact, Perth have played a Melbourne side for the last 3 times on the trot.
They should know them well then. Might be able to cause an upset. Wouldn't that be an upset? They finish off their season with a win and 3 points to shake up the top 4. But as we say, Sydney FC and Brisbane have been the ones causing trouble all season, top of the table. But everyone's been able to beat everyone. Adelaide's beaten Sydney, Canberra's beaten Adelaide, and Victory's beaten Adelaide. I mean, they've all beaten each other. It's really set up for amazing finals.
A real mishmash as Fiona Wirtz has a foul against her, and there's Nick Orgel that got the push in the back.
Adelaide's had a good 10 minutes, but they've got to expect the Wanderers to come back into it at this stage, and these are the moments when you haven't got the ball that you need to roll your sleeves up and make sure you don't concede a goal.
So Copus Brown for the Wanderers. It's beautifully placed, and it's confident by Sean McLaren. And she's found Fiona Wirtz at the other end. It's time for the Englishwoman to exert her influence, not to be on this occasion. Price back to Orgel. Copus Brown.
You can hear Adrian Stenter barking instructions for the press. We didn't hear that much during the first half. Obviously, one of those instructions is get on the front foot, try to win the ball back a little bit higher up the park. Not happy with Rojas's effort there.
Well, that's a lovely ball to Riley Henry. Still Henry looking for opportunities. Carnes charges in, intercepted by Matilda McNamara.
Got a feeling this game's going to open up.
Adelaide United will not want to die wandering today. A bit of pressure on, and maybe a little bit too casual by the Wanderers' defence.
I think she was expecting the keeper to come out for that one. And then you almost get too close to each other that you can't play it back to your keeper, because that's when you have some sort of mix-up, put it in your own net. So she did the right thing there. Just any hesitation, just get it away from danger.
Rojas couldn't control, and it's a quick throw from Copus Brown to put the Wanderers back into the attack. Tumble on the near side, Rojas and Collister.
Initially thought that might have been a yellow card from this vantage point. I wouldn't have been surprised. It was more of a push and then went in with the tackle, so maybe one more warning.
Copus Brown asking her players to move forward. Giving her something to aim for. And certainly getting behind their side in red here. Flickon didn't quite come off. Collister trots down to Julie, puts some pressure on McLaren.
Now we know why Caitlin Cooper wasn't so keen to get forward.
Too right. Well, you've been on varying sides of this equation. What's the mentality like when, you know, you're playing a do-or-die game, or alternatively, you know that there's ultimately, apart from pride, or perhaps if you're looking for a showing in a national team in the Olympics, there's not much else to play for?
Yeah, well, from Adelaide's point of view, I mean, the most important thing, and I think they've done it really well this season, because they've gotten in positions what they haven't been in before, you know, winning against Melbourne City and winning against Sydney FC. They've continued to look to go forward. They haven't sat back, and I think that's what they need to do. Obviously, don't do anything silly, and you don't want your centre-half going on a mazy trying to run the length of the field, but look to score, look to stay on the front foot, look to press high, because as soon as you look to defend and protect that lead and start to drop off, that's when you invite pressure. And I suppose for the Wanderers, as you say, they want to finish their season on a high note and go into pre-season and off to the, you know, back to the WNSL or wherever it is in New South Wales and finish on a real high note.
100%. First card of the day goes to Caitlin Cooper for that challenge. And well, you mentioned centre-backs on a mazy run. I reckon Mariska Valdos would be quite happy to get a second on the board and go box to box.
I'd like to see it. Maybe we saw Milan Ivanovic do it here at Highmarsh Stadium back in the day. He didn't mind the run. Lubo Milicevic, another one who comes to mind. So
yeah, she's in good company. As it is, she'll deliver the free kick instead. There's a little bit of miscommunication there. Didn't find its intended recipient. We heard what Adrian Stenter had to say about his side after I asked him 13 questions about his substitute to work out where that was going to take effect. What do you reckon Dean Heffernan had to say? They've got a fantastic trio between him and Michael Beecham and Kath Canuli in charge of this side. And in fact, Dean Heffernan has coached the most games for the women of the Wanderers because they seem to change coaches with alarming regularity, and he's getting some consistency there.
Yeah, I mean, I think today he breaks the record with his 25th appearance, so well done to him. Congratulations. I think he would have been pretty pleased with the...
Oh, look at that there for Karmas. Could be on for Lena. Karmas tries to chip the keeper. Doesn't quite come off, but wow, she's asking the question.
He would have been even more pleased had that gone under the crossbar. But yeah, I think he would have been pretty pleased with their first half, in particular in the midfield. I think he maybe could have wanted a little bit more from his front three, but you see Karmas just nips in front of McNamara. Fry McLaren comes out just to spoil the angle just enough. She has to try to lift the keeper, but the angle's so tight with the keeper coming out, she just gets a little bit too much on it, and there's a warning sign for Adelaide that Western Sydney aren't just here to coast to the end of the season.
Lena's expressions too. Always up for a goal, Lena Karmas. This end now, it's Laura Johns for Adelaide. Webber trying to get past Tegan Collister. Adelaide switch to the other side, and Emily Hodgson pushes forward to Isabel Hodgson. And still on for Adelaide, and hands thrown up, and the crowd claps their appreciation.
I think Hodgson's been probably one of Adelaide's best today. She's looked the most likely in the front third, and 2 or 3 efforts on that occasion. She got the cross back in, came to her, got in front of Henry, wins a free kick in a really, really dangerous position. Walders already with one. Walders, I noticed early in the first half, she likes to sort of get central and lose her marker and peel towards the back post. You can see she's trying to get close to one of her teammates to give her a little bit of a block, most likely Rojas, the sacrificial lamb.
Exactly, it's a basketball screen, isn't it? She does have a height advantage to the Dutch woman. She's
starting at the back this time, so it might be a near post run.
See what happens for Adelaide, and it is a near post run from Walders, and it's flicked in, and that is Adelaide United up by 3 goals to 1. They are on fire in this final game of the regular season.
Fiona Wirtz, I think it was, picking up the pieces. All the talk was about Walders. She was the one that made the near post run. Little bit of a surprise to see that one played along the deck. We see here, comes around to the penalty spot. Not the cleanest of strikes, taking a little deflection. Fiona Wirtz is the first one to pounce. Lovely little set piece from Adelaide. And there was 3 or 4 Adelaide United players loose after that ball fell free. Walters couldn't quite get it on target, little deflection. And Adelaide United 3-1 up with under half an hour to play here at Cooper Stadium.
Exciting times. You put the pressure on them, asking for that 3-goal buffer to up their goal difference and keep them even more competitive in the race to finals football, and a second goal to Fiona Wirtz for this season.
Well, saying Adelaide don't need to get too carried away and look to press and score, you know, too many goals, take too many risks. But in the next 27 minutes, if they can score 2 goals, that would make a hell of a difference to their season.
Certainly would, and look at their tails up now. Look at the pressure they're starting to apply, and it's still running away for Adelaide United. Well, could be there for Webber. Oh, still on for Adelaide as Caitlin Cooper gratefully clears.
Was that off the post? I'm not sure whether Willisey got a save on that or if it came straight off the inside of the post. Adelaide all over Western Sydney Wanderers in this second half.
And here we go again, Mallory Webber. She's copped a knock. Oh, 2 players down with knocks. Georgia Campagnale on the near side looks to be in a great deal of pain.
What is that?
Webber sitting up just beyond her.
Campagnale and Webber both back up on their feet. Warm round of applause from this crowd. Here's that chance again. Hodgson again down that right-hand side. Thought it was a little bit early, that cross, and that's in off the inside of the post. So close. Beaten Willisey at the near post. There's that tackle. Oh, you can just see she just got stepped on the inside of the knee after the tackle.
That's what I heard.
Accidental from Collister, but that'll be her last action in the game. Webber so close. It's putting Adelaide 4-1 up.
And Erica Holloway joins the fray for the Western Sydney Wanderers. 36-year-old is former captain of this side and 57th appearance. Her 6th season in red and black, and out for a while with injury, Erica Holloway, but been immense for the Western Sydney side over that time. And Webber again, she's hungry. Gets it through to Rojas. Look at those tricky feet. Rojas charges through. Nutmegs Cooper. Could be on again for Wirtz. Maybe took one too many touches there. It's playing dangerously for the Wanderers with Adelaide charging down on their goal. Hunter tries to create something at the other end. Johns interferes. Waldes, and it's back on for Adelaide United.
Yep, stretched, as I said. Adelaide with another wonderful opening. I just think if Wirtz had had a little bit more composure, she probably could have played in Hodgson. It was a neat piece of skill from Webber and then Rojas. I mentioned Wirtz has been quiet, but she's got that all-important goal, and that's all that matters when you're up front.
Thought you might have been taking credit for the goal there, Robbie, which is the reverse of the commentator's curse. So wearing your Reds shirt, we can understand how that could happen. Lena Karmas on for Western Sydney Wanderers.
With the likes of Karmas and some of the other attacking options out there, if they can get a goal, it would really shake things for Adelaide.
Wirtz again here. Trying to evade Nicola Orgel. Manages to find Rojas. Still on for Rojas. She takes a tumble. There's no whistle, and it's Caitlin Cooper that clears for the Wanderers, only as far as Matilda McNamara. Adelaide look to reset. Hodgson tries to pop it through at the feet of Wirtz. Willisey said, not this time, thanks.
Yeah, this is where you want to see Rojas. Well, there's a bit of contact to the face from Cooper. Certainly arm was a little bit high. Obviously, Rojas is quite small. But they're the sort of situations you want to get Rojas in. I think Cooper was just a little bit too strong for her there. What
an entertaining 15 or so minutes, 20 minutes minutes we've had thus far in this half. Should be a scintillating close to this match because these 3 points are all important in the context of the last games still to come.
And we don't know yet, but if Canberra have to play Sydney first before that catch-up game, then obviously that means something different for Sydney FC as well, because they're trying to secure the title.
Well, price on again for Western Sydney Wanderers, trying to grab one back for the visitors. Solid from Valdos. And Robbie, you're absolutely right. And well, we can hear the applause around the stadium. It is a record crowd, 5,159 fans in here.
Well done to everyone involved. I thought there was a bit more. It's been a wonderful atmosphere and a wonderful turnout, and they're seeing a fantastic game. So let's hope we see some more big crowds in the W League in the years to come.
To right, Copus Brown for the Wanderers, right to the middle of the area, beyond the outstretched hands of Sean McLaren. And only as far as Danica Matos. Oh, McNamara ensures that Henry can't get her feet to it. Yeah, there's been plenty of entertainment over this 70 minutes or so here in Adelaide. Wonderful to see the women playing at this stadium and making the most of this opportunity. Now Karmas for Western Sydney. Back to Karmas. Price nips in to pick it up. Henry off on a run. Still the 17-year-old looking for a teammate. Only back as far as Yeomandale. Cuts back, and Matilda McNamara forced a clear. Oh, that looked like it was going to go backwards into her own goal from here.
Well, from that angle, it looked as though that was going to hit the back of the net.
It did. Fortunately for Adelaide United, it was the other side.
Couple of moments there for McNamara, in particular this clearance where it just doesn't do enough with it. Little snapshot. Great effort.
A chance here for Adelaide United to perhaps settle. Need to stay composed if they're going to keep the Wanderers from getting back into this match. Over the head of Hunter. Condon sends it to McNamara.
Yeah, Wanderers just having a little bit more of it in this last 5 minutes. Can't expect Adelaide to dominate the whole half and be on the front foot all the time. You know, Wanderers have got some more goals on the bench. Rosie Galea is on the bench as well. Couple of goals last week, I think, as well. So some firepower still to come.
Yeah, they've certainly got enough players that can score goals. And I guess by the Wanderers' lofty standards from last season, they would perhaps be a little bit disappointed with this one, but you know, you can't compare with that star-studded lineup. Same for Melbourne City. No, ditto. They've got a completely changed lineup from last year, but they've really come into their own in the back end of this season. Perhaps a little too late, but you can see them being back bigger and better in the next edition. We saw the players at training during the week, Robbie, as Matos got a little bit of a knock in the face, recovers quickly to chase down Rojas. And how much of the talk do you think in amongst around the team was the crucial element of the result here today?
Yeah, well, obviously, you do your processes and the result takes care of itself. So as much as you know you need to win, there's no point in the coach coming in saying, hey, we need to win this game, because you're trying to win every game. It's all about how you're going to win it and what's worked well for them all season and sticking to those things. Last two goals have come from set pieces, and they'll be looking to get another one here.
Condon's delivery for Adelaide. It's beyond the area, chased down. The Wanderers now there's a foot race on, and well done. Adelaide back in control now. Rojas on the far side, crosses in over the head of Wirtz, still there. Oh, what a wonderful reflex save from Sarah Willisey.
That was the moment. That was the moment. There was nothing wrong with the strike. Did everything right. The ball was bouncing. Got over the top of it to keep it down. It was a great ball in from Rojas. You see here, and it's just the ball, the half volley, the Yorker. Lovely strike, and unfortunately, anywhere but there, it's probably in the back of the net. Hits it straight at Willisey, who stands up tall.
Yeah, I thought for all money, Isabel Hodgson had a second goal there. Wasn't to be. And neat back heel from the teen. Now Lena Karmas. 2 sixes go toe to toe. This occasion, it's Campagnale that wins that ball, headed through for Western Sydney Wanderers. Now it's Matos, well over the top, and McLaren looked pretty comfortable.
She did, but they're the ones that you sometimes just dip underneath your crossbar. I don't think she could have done anything about it. Just turn and having a watch and hold your breath, but it wasn't the greatest of ball, but we see them crosses turn into shots so often.
Saw Angie Beard do that at Epping Stadium not too many weeks ago. The shot cross that's always claimed as a shot. Riley Henry been lively. We've got another Adelaide change potentially coming up in the not too distant future.
Yeah, the 2 subs down there, Kirkby and Mullen, I think it is, warming up, going through their paces. I saw one of the assistant coach, Michele Listella, having a little chat to them as well. So I'm sure in the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to see a couple more come on for Adelaide and inject a bit more energy again.
Well, approaching the 75-minute mark, it is 3-1 advantage the home side here at Cooper Stadium. Fantastic afternoon of football thus far, and a very happy home crowd, knowing that the result stays like this, their side also stays in contention.
You want to send the fans away happy regardless. I mean,
oh, well, just over the top to Rojas. Rojas one-on-one with the keeper, but the flag had gone up.
I'm not sure about that. I stopped my thought and my talking because I thought she was 100% through. That was so tight.
Let's take another look at this angle.
We're not going to get to see it, unfortunately, just out of shot. Finish it off.
And confirmation there of the 5,159 fans here in Adelaide today. Lovely afternoon of sunshine. Temperatures, it's pretty warm here. It's in the high 20s.
Flick on the Adelaide United men's game later on, and it'll probably be raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, hope all well with everyone around the country who's dealing with the complete contrast and flooding and wild weather in other areas. In case anyone's tuned in who hasn't realised, the premiership is still up for grabs in the W League, with the match between Sydney FC and Melbourne Victory postponed. Confirmation of that date coming up. Heffernan helps his side effect a quick play on. Matos duly takes. Although I felt she might have been held there. Indeed, it's Libby Copus-Brown with a free kick. Chance here for Western Sydney Wanderers, perhaps, to mount an attack and drag one back. Wanderers could score here. It would certainly up the ante in the dying minutes of this game. Well, headed down by Adelaide. And subsequently cleared only as far as Matos back in their own half.
I think the Wanderers deserve a lot of credit. The way they've come here today and conducted themselves made it so difficult. You know, we've spoke about pride in your performance, and you know, I mentioned as well that their whole message this season is about making a statement, and there'd be no bigger statement than to come here and beat Adelaide today as they try to make the finals. It's the start of a new program. Looks as though a little bit of cramp. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, calling for attention to her calf. Olivia Price, responsible for the opening goal and 3 minutes in this match. Been running hard ever since.
You can see her right calf just cramps up and the toe starts to point as it contracts. But I think she's been one of the best today for the Wanderers. Not just the goal, obviously. She had a good chance, I think, in the second half. I think she's been really, really lively in the midfield. Her pressure was really good, in particular in that opening 20 or 30 minutes when the Wanderers were on top. And I think she can be pretty proud of her efforts today.
Sure can, the former junior and young Matilda. Olivia Price has also had stints with Sydney FC. And, of course, spent the last 2 seasons at Canberra United before returning to the Wanderers. This is her 65th W League appearance. These are the 2 changes that you mooted might be coming up for the Wanderers. A couple of goals for Rosie Galea in the last outing, and Margot Chevet, the 18-year-old defender, in her 6th outing in red and black, or rather it's pretty much white today. So Rosie Galea, 20 years old, ex-Canberra United. This is her 2nd season with Western Sydney Wanderers. 1 appearance last season, but being much busier this one. 4 goals already. A similar spot to the last delivery. Copus Brown puts it into the mix. Once again, it's the head of Mullis that stops the play, although momentarily. Goes flat for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Caitlin Cooper probably wanted to do more with that. 1-2 between Wirtz and her midfielder. Still Fiona Wirtz. Watson comes in to cut off the run of Briley Henry. And they need to be careful in these final 10 minutes that they don't drop their guard.
They'll be pretty pleased with their second half. Obviously, 2 goals to the good now, coming from behind. If they can get 1 more, it would mean so much to their season.
Orgel right down the middle to Lena Karmas. Oh, that would have been beautiful for Henry. On again for Karmas. Still alive for Western Sydney Wanderers. That's a lovely ball up. Still on there for Western Sydney Wanderers. And the relieved Rojas watches it roll past the line.
It's a dangerous ball in. Karmas initially involved. Lovely ball into the centre. I think it's just evading the head at the back stick. Laura Johns able to just let that one run out for a goal kick.
Well, now it's Wirtz who's being asked to make the run. Cooper. And Isabel Hodgson almost dispossessing the Wanderers defender, and now it's Matos that charges away in transition. Henry on the far side. The effort from Western Sydney Wanderers. First touch for Margot Chauvet. Rolls on nicely for Holloway if she can get to it, and she does. Foul will be called on Laura Johns. Another chance for the Wanderers from a set piece.
There's a good opportunity for the Wanderers down this right-hand side. Holloway coming on with the fresh legs. Laura Johns coming on for the injured Charlotte Grant, and hasn't had a lot of football this year, so you'd expect her to be starting to feel the pinch in the last 5-10 minutes. Holloway just a little bit too quick with the feet there and drawing the foul.
Sun's coming into an interesting position. Sian McLaren, will she be challenged here? No, would be the answer to that.
That's comfortable, that one.
See from the shadow in the grandstand that the sun is going to be at quite an uncomfortable angle for these last 8 or 9 minutes. I think McLaren would be very happy if her teammates could keep the ball up at this end, as Wirtz has a bit of a stumble. And Wirtz responsible for the third goal. Matos. Riley Henry and Emily Hodgson. They've got a fantastic battle, haven't they?
Certainly have. Another strong tackle.
And we have Mallory Allen here coming on for Adelaide.
The goal scorer. That's the goal that put Adelaide in front. Waldus. Isabel Hodgson making her way off. Lovely round of applause. Probably the best player on the park. She's pumped. She's certainly pumped.
Fantastic work from Hodgson, placed by the 20-year-old. Another one in her second stint at Adelaide, played a much bigger part this season. Just one appearance last season, but really been brought on by Adrian Stenter.
I think it's a good move as well, because when Adelaide were dominating in this half, it was when the front three, front four were able to get pressure on really high, win the ball. They had so much energy and probably just lost a little bit of that as the half wore on. So to get some fresh legs up front, try to get a little bit more pressure defensively when the Wanderers have the ball, and some more energy going forward too in behind.
Legs not quite fresh enough to run that one down, and they turn over possession. Now the Wanderers with an opportunity as Chauvet charges up the right flank. It's for Karmas. It's dealt with by the Adelaide defence. Curtis Brown. Hunter. Karmas on the turn. Curtis Brown tries to thread the needle for Holloway. Doesn't quite come off. See the live ladder. See Adelaide up in third position at this point. Of course, Robbie, we mentioned how many permutations there are in those final 4 or 5 games that are left.
I mean, there's 5 minutes to go, but I mean, if Adelaide win this game, that's all they can do. Give them a tick. I'm sure they'll look back upon the season and that loss at home to Victory, that 1-0 when they had plenty of chances.
Karmas, Lena Karmas!
That's how dangerous she is.
Force the save from Sean McLaren.
I thought that was going to nestle into the top corner. Lovely play from Karmas, just going past McNamara on the left peg. A little bit higher, and I reckon that's in. In the end, it's probably at a comfortable height. It was a wonderful strike across her body.
She makes it look so easy. Lena Karmas here for Western Sydney Wanderers. Another opportunity from a corner.
Just going to say that loss at home to the Victory. Adelaide had so many opportunities, one-on-ones, and then the opening game against Canberra when they were 2-0 up and lost 4-3. Just think if you're able to get a point out of one of those games, it could have made all the difference, but there's not much you can do about that now, is there?
Nope, that's all in the rearview mirror as the end of the regular season starts to trickle away, and it will be Fiona Wirtz who scored that third goal for Adelaide that makes way. It's Lara Kirkby, as you flagged earlier, might be the case. Robbie coming on for her shift in the remaining 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think we'll see Rojas go up front now, take the place of Wirtz on the last line, look to get in behind as much as she possibly can. Maybe just park her up there.
Rojas unable to connect with that one. With some joy this time. Neat little turn. Now a chance for Adelaide perhaps to add that 4th goal, improve their goal difference. Aldous. Good work from Riley Henry. Forced a turnover. A little bit too casual on that occasion. Haven't spotted Johns coming up behind her. So the Wanderers, Chauvet decides to perhaps just put it in the mixer. Rojas was hoping to maybe turn and beat her defender, but Nick Orgel now moving forward. Oh, and this is lovely from Adelaide United. Got options. Still there for Adelaide. Which way will they go? What a wasteful pass. She'd probably like to have that one back.
That was the moment. Rojas was steaming through the middle. All she had to do was roll it into her path and barely made contact.
I'll do better this time, and Wanderers having too much to deal with in these last couple of forays. Another opportunity for Adelaide. Mallory Webber this time. Still on for Mallory Webber as Adelaide comes streaming forward. Red shirt streaming into the box. Blocked for the moment. Laura Johns comes back in, tries to get past Holloway. They've earned themselves a corner.
I thought that was the moment Emily Condon was just going to pop up on the edge of the 18. Webber did look for the cutback and she got herself into some really, really good space. It's well defended from the Wanderers.
Chunk of extra time. 4 minutes, we're told. Can Adelaide add a fourth goal here on this corner? Opportunity headed high. And it's rinse and repeat on the opposite side.
Almost every corner's gone to the back post. It's definitely a ploy. You see Walters just going across and having a little chat with the set piece taker. Maybe just going to switch things up a little bit.
Asking them to calm things down a touch.
That's the quality, sorry to interrupt, of Condon. Swung the first one in with the right, the next one with the left. Great technical ability.
Really two-footed, a card show to Lena Karmas. Quite agreeing with that decision. Condon's delivery make the difference for Adelaide and give them a fourth goal here in the dying minutes at Cooper Stadium. Lara Lee still settling things in the box.
There'll be a foul either way here. There'll be a penalty or there'll be a free kick to the Wanderers. There's so much wrestling going on in that 6-yard box.
Oh no, it's Walters that's fallen over, yanked up by the by the Western Sydney Wanderers.
It's like a boxer in that ring.
Delivery in for Adelaide United. Keeper comes out, still on for Adelaide. Put back, still alive for Adelaide, and in the end it's going to be yet another corner. Third in a row for the Reds.
Walters pumping up the crowd as well now, getting out to him, the hype man. She's up for this.
Go again. Adelaide United into the area. Volders was there. Still there for Adelaide. It goes just wide of Sarah Willis's goal. And finally, it'll be a goal kick for the Wanderers to start the attack at this end. A quick recovery from Margot Chevet gives the side a throw with 3 minutes, or 2.5 rather, remaining in this match.
It's been a fantastic game, great afternoon, plenty of entertainment. Well done to both sides, and well done to everyone who's come out and watched this game and helped make it such a spectacle. It's one I've thoroughly enjoyed.
Agree completely, Robbie. It's been quite a spectacle. Briley Henry doesn't want it to end here. Pops it back, still there for the Western Sydney Wanderers. I thought Lena Karmas might have thrown herself at that, but just over Karmas's head.
It's almost a wonderful ball from Galea. Sort of just hooked it around over the shoulder. First touch out in front, just sort of, I don't know if it was a shot or a cross, just aiming it in towards that space at the back post, and Karmas wasn't too far away. Crowd getting involved again now.
Sure are, just under 2 minutes left here. I think the result is pretty much confirmed, but Adelaide would very much like to add another goal to this tally and putting the pressure on Sarah Willisey. It's tracked right back to retrieve. Caitlin Cooper for the Wanderers. Ricochet there, now evades Hunter. They do get the free kick. Time ticks away inside the final minute here in this last game of the regular season for Adelaide United and the Western Sydney Wanderers at this point. Adelaide still very much in finals contention, jumping up to third on the table with this result. Wanderers delivery in, blocked by the Adelaide defence. Chevet leaps into the fray for the Wanderers again. Orgel pokes it through for Copus Brown. Still the Wanderers. Easy for Laura Johns to deal with. She's got Rojas waiting. Spotted her. Rojas looking to time her run, does it beautifully. Got Condon waiting in the middle and opts to go wider. Lovely work here from Adelaide United. Still on for Adelaide. Into the middle, and there's no red shirt waiting on the near side. How unfortunate. That looked very promising indeed.
Well, that would have just been the icing on the cake for Adelaide. Opening 3 against 2. The touch from Mullen was decent enough. Might be the last opportunity.
They're getting very close to that point of the game. As Marushka Waldos chases the ball down on the near side. There is a check of the watch from Lara Lee. She knows time's ticking away. Showing that we've exceeded the 4 minutes added on. And that tussle there will be the final interaction of this match, and Adelaide United still alive in the finals run. They will be dependent on other results, but they've done everything they can do here today. Finished full-time at Cooper Stadium. Adelaide United 3, Western Sydney 1. Well, congratulations to the Reds. Robbie Cornthwaite, 5,159 fans. Couldn't have asked for more.
No, they couldn't. They saw an absolute cracking game. Western Sydney Wanderers came out of the blocks really, really quickly and put Adelaide under all sorts of pressure, and they were good enough to respond. I thought, again, Wanderers were great throughout in a game that meant virtually nothing to their season, and for Adelaide to do it without Holmes, without Dorber, Charlotte Grant going off as well, they were up against it, and yeah, they were able to get the result that they needed.
Well, you can see the connection between the players on the park. A number of them have played for both sides, and the Western Sydney Wanderers disappointed that they won't be playing finals, but full of congratulations for Adelaide United, who are on the cusp of a first finals appearance.
Well, it's been a record-breaking season. They've been able to win more games, get more points and score more goals. They've been able to do a hell of a lot, to be honest, and I mean, making finals would be the perfect way for them to finish, but they can be pretty pleased and pretty proud with what they've been able to achieve under the first year coach Adrian Stenter.
Indeed, and of course their season now relies on results from Canberra United, who take on Sydney FC, and Melbourne Victory ditto. They take on Sydney FC in that postponed match, as well as Perth Glory at home. Well, and we're lucky enough to have the Adelaide coach, Adrian Stenter, back with us. Congratulations, Adrian. You'd have to think you've done everything you can do, and can I only assume that you're pretty happy with that outcome?
Yeah, I think it was a great comeback after, conceding so early. A lot of teams, would go into their shell, especially in front of a big crowd and at home.